Thank you for joining, and I'm so sorry that you were unable to join us today, but we're going to make this a very quick wrap up of today's lesson. Today, the goal is that you are able to reflect points over a given line. The line may be the x-axis, the y-axis, or even over a given line such as y equals x. So let's take a look at an example of when points are reflected over the x-axis. We need to know two things. We need to ensure that we have a pre-image and a line of reflection. Again, right now we're working with the x-axis. First, I want to look at the pre-image. My pre-image is right here, this image in blue. I know that because it does not have the little prime symbol next to the letters. So this is my pre-image. According to the pre-image, I have P at 2,5, Q at 6,2, and R at 2,2. And it was reflected over the x-axis, producing P, Q, R prime. I'm going to go ahead and write down my new coordinates for P, Q, R prime, or my image, the image that comes after the pre-image. My coordinate for P prime is 2, so I went over 2 units and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So 2 comma -5 are my coordinates for P prime. Q is at 6, positive 6, and we went down -2. So 6 comma -2 are my coordinates for Q. Last but not least, we have the coordinates for R. R is at positive 2, -2. So positive 2, -2. Okay, now in order to determine what our actual coordinate notation is when reflecting over the x-axis, I want to try and figure out what my rule is. So take a look at the coordinates. Let's compare the pre-image to the image. What do you notice? You can go ahead and pause the video at this time to see if you can take a guess. Okay, welcome back. So let's take a look and compare. Notice that the x-coordinates 2, 6, and 2 for the pre-image are exactly the same for the image, 2, 6, and 2. But take a look at what happens with the y-coordinate. We have a 5 for p, but when we transform to p prime, notice that the 5 becomes negative. The sign has changed. Let's take a look at point Q. The 2 transforms into a -2. And the same happens for point R. When we reflect over the x-axis, notice that the coordinates became 2, 2. It was 2, 2, and it became 2, -2. So the rule that we can come to a conclusion for is that when we reflect over the x-axis, the x-coordinate stays the same, but the y-coordinate changes. There's a change in the y. That's the rule for the reflection in the x-axis. Let's take a look and let's do a quick check for understanding. Let's see if you understand what it means to reflect a point in the x-axis. What is the image of point -3, 7 after a reflection in the x-axis? Okay, so we can go ahead and take a look at the negative 3 comma 7. And notice that when we reflect in the x-axis, remember that the only thing that changes is the sign of the y value.